This episode of Bachelor Universe is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Welcome to the Bachelor Universe podcast. I am your host, Jim Alexander. It is Monday night. It is May 30th going into May 31st. Week 2 just concluded and a lot happened. So let's not waste any time and get into it right away. So week 2 of The Bachelor starts out with Chad talking. So Chad can't ever shut up and he continues that again. Chris Harrison arrives with the first date card, and it's a group date. So we have Luke, Wells, Vinny, Ali, Evan, James F., Robbie, there's too many guys, Christian, are all going on a date. Well, that's a big group. They come outside, they rush outside as a burning car explodes. Like, legit, there's like a car explosion. It reminded me of like a thing they did in the WWE years ago where Vince McMahon, where his limo blew up. It was like a storyline. This was sort of like that. So what did these guys do when there's like a burning car on fire? Nothing. A fire truck comes out right away on cue, and JoJo jumps out of it in a firewoman's or fireman's outfit. So there she is, JoJo to the rescue, firewoman extraordinaire. So she starts attempting to put out the flame semi-successfully, and that's your setup for the date. So there's something involving firemen and something burning maybe. Then Chad runs his mouth again, talking about selling some cars or, I don't know, who cares, dude. So then there's more Chad. Chad is doing pull-ups. Yeah, he's doing pull-ups on the side of the building. He's like hanging off like one of the balconies or something. And he has his luggage strapped to his waist. And he's doing the pull-ups that way. It just looks weird and such a douche. Innovative, but just dumb. So the group date is a fire academy training date. So that's how they're going to impress JoJo. Are they going to do that? Doubtful. I mean, come on. These guys, like, the first thing you see is like them trying to put on a fireman's outfit, and they can't even get that on. So can you imagine them putting out a fire if they can't even get the fireman outfit on? Just no chance of that happening. So Wells right away makes an impression. He's about to pass out just from observing. Like, this dude can't even observe this stuff. It's too much for him. Where's the group of singers now when you need them? Where are the guys in the background that are kind of attached to his hip that sing? Moral support. We need Wells. Wells needs moral support. Where are they? So a pale Wells nearly passes out. Like, we are talking about, he's green. The fireman captain makes notice of it and tells them to keep an eye out on him. That's embarrassing. So no, the singer group does not resuscitate him to life, but JoJo does. So they had JoJo come over and talk to him, and suddenly he's feeling so much better. So there he goes. Was it a ploy? No, probably not. He just seems like a wimp. So then they kind of narrow it down. It's Wells, Robbie, and Luke. Yeah, Wells makes a miraculous recovery to do the challenge, and Grant, who is a firefighter, an actual one, wins the competition by defeating those guys that have nothing to do with being firemen. I swear, if Grant were to lose this challenge, then he just might as well just turn in his resignation. Just as soon as he shows up. There's no way this guy could ever pull off being a fireman after losing to these clowns. Had he had lost this challenge, so he almost lost his job and his career and profession all through this challenge. So he, nick of time, Grant pulls one away. Wow, yeah, not that impressive. It was a challenge. So he gets a mini soul date with JoJo because of that. So she actually finds him kind of surprising and, impressed, basically, that he's a fireman and he's so selfless and saves lives. So that is like the thing that impresses her. And that leads to a makeout session between them. There you go. So Grant got a little dab for that. Back at the house, a card arrives, a date card, and it's Derek who gets a one-on-one. So Baby Rogers isn't pleased with that. So that's not surprising. And Luke just keeps on moping. He just continues to mope about being a loser in the fireman challenge. It's like, come on, dude. You had no chance. Just like this jealousy is just creeping in big time. So there you go. But he does get some solo time. So crybaby Luke gets solo time with JoJo and on the rooftop. It just seems to be the place always after a group date. And they kiss on the rooftop. So who gets the date rose? That's the big one. Well, it's Wells. He basically fainted his way to a rose. Now that's like top work of a top 40 DJ. No question. Unbelievable. So he's safe for another week. Now, Derek gets his date with JoJo that he, of course, got through the date card, the one-on-one. She picks him up in, like, once again, that classic baby blue muscle car, convertible one. I mean, it has to be like a thing that the Bachelor has a contract with to get that car. JoJo had it last week. She has it this week. That is her ride. And that's what they picked for her? I don't know, unless she requested it. So their date is like full of riddles and like choices, basically. The choice. They have a choice as soon as they get in a car. There's like two signs, and the choice says to fly or see, like as in go into sea. And they pick fly, so they both unanimously agree to that. They both decided. Next option, these options just kept on popping up throughout this date. It's like a pick or choose type of thing. Next option was, they didn't have an option to get on a private jet. They were going to take a private jet. Where were they going to go? North or south? So I'm guessing they're not going too far. I mean, south? You're probably going to San Diego. North, yeah, you might end up in some desert, maybe Napa. But no, they actually pick north and they go to San Francisco. It was that or San Diego, so I guess San Francisco isn't too bad at the end. Then they get another choice. Lombard Street or Golden Great, yeah. It's pretty great, Golden Gate Bridge. So they pick Golden Gate Bridge. So there they go. They had a mini picnic there and they kiss. So that is the extent of their date. I guarantee you that Derek has not had to make that many decisions in his life, and he probably never will after that. So there you go. Derek got his fixed of decision making he's ever going to have to make. So back to the house. What's new? Well, check back in. There's a bromance brewing in the house. So we have Chad and the unfunny Canadian comedian Daniel. That's the new group. That's news to you right there. Vills. The Vills are gonna Vill, and they're this season's Vills. I mean, they're not quite like JJ. Definitely not that kind of Vill. I mean, these guys just not funny, unlikable, and bad. So Clint and JJ, you guys are safe. We're gonna call these guys Vills negative 2.0 because they're just that bad. So next date card. There's another group date, just date after date. This one is a group date. Jordan, Nick, James, Chad, Alex. There's some of the guys that are going to go on this next date. Chase, here's the thing about Chase. He looks a lot like Chris Bukowski's long-lost brother. So Bukowski said he's going to retire from The Bachelor. And actually, you're not. You will always live on forever. And now you are living vicariously through Chase because you look like him, Chris Bukowski. So retirement undone. So back to JoJo and Derek's date. Once again, another guy who's scared to open up to JoJo, and this time it's about his ex. This reminds me of last season, Bachelorette, when like the guys were just scared to open up, and Ben, especially Ben to Caitlyn. And it wasn't even a big deal. It's like, ooh, I'm unlovable, or ooh, I had a relationship and I ended. Like, dude, no one died. Nothing horrendous happened. It's just part of life. You break up, and that's what happened to you. So, not the biggest of deals. Right, Derek? Don't be the new Ben. But speaking of Ben, there's a lot of talk about Ben. There's mention of Ben. So JoJo brings up his name. So there's another Ben shout out going on. She talks about being hurt by him and not being able to kind of understand what had happened and having a burden about it. So I guess that's like a point that kind of brings them together, and JoJo kind of needs to reinforce him about talking about his past burdens, that it's okay, and Derek gets the obvious rose, according to JoJo. Who would have thought? So now, next, the group date. This one's interesting. They have an ESPN Studios tour. So LA ESPN Studios is the place they're going to, and they are going to visit the set of Sports Nation, hosted by Max and Marcellus. The show on ESPN, popular daytime show. This should be an interesting date, actually. And unshockingly, you have Jordan, part of this date, the former NFLer. And, if Baby Rogers screws up a date like this, then he should really kind of be ashamed of himself. Like, for real. So the first task they have to do is like a touchdown dance celebration with a rose. So, you would think Jordan would have the upper hand, but this guy has probably never smelled the end zone in the NFL, so it's not like he has an advantage. So he does something, he slides on the turf, and he gets rug burn, basically. So that just shows you the inexperience of Jordan, Baby Rogers, on the football field, that he doesn't even know what the grass turf feels like, AstroTurf. So, well done, not really. Chad kind of creates controversy. So there's like a mock press conference next, and also they do like a mock proposal, and the press conference is not a thing of Chad's strength, that's for sure. He completely bombed it, did not do well whatsoever. This man needs a PR at his side, PR assistant at all times, because him at a press conference would be disastrous. He basically was negging JoJo, so trying to act like the tough guy, saying that he doesn't know her, that's why he's not in love with her like all these other guys, and all this stuff. And he referred to JoJo as nagging. So that is never a good thing that any woman would want to hear about herself being a nagging woman. So that throws her off a bit, I'm sure. So there you go. And then, of course, Chad ends up having the worst mic interview, no question. Can't top bad. But the power rankings come out. So Max and Marcellus decide on power ranking these guys. Alex finishes third. Chad comes in second. And James gets number one. James. Like, the singer-songwriter guy. So how about that? And then Chad just keeps on boasting about like being honest, and we all know he's a douche. So JoJo gets some time with Power Rankings winner James. He reads a poem to her. He's just going the classic nice guy route. He makes a claim that Chad now, there's a lot of cutaway scenes to Chad doing his confessional and throwing everyone on a bus. So Chad makes a claim that at 6'4", she doesn't want a guy like Alex who's 5'4". It's, like a foot difference. If it's true. It might be, probably, judging on how small Alex looks like. Chad tells JoJo, so then he has some time with her. And he tells her, he starts opening up and pretends to have a good side. And he tells her he has a Maltese puppy that he inherited through his mom, who recently passed away. So, sad news. She was surprised that he came on the show and kind of thankful that he was out there after his mother's passing. So there. Then they go up to a well, and they're throwing in something to make a wish, and they throw in some change. I guarantee you it was not more than a penny, because I don't see Chad wasting in his mind more than a penny on a woman. So there you go. Probably 2 pennies, and much luck will not happen for him. Maybe it was more. So there you go. So now the all-important rose for the date. The group date rose goes to the guy that opened up the most, according to JoJo, and that was James. James gets it. Chad shocked, obviously. But James, deservingly so, I guess, gets the rose. So good for him. Then, this poem must have really got it done. He's playing the nice guy card, but it really seems the guy is a nice guy. So can't hate him for that. So now this episode was legitimately all about Chad. So Creeper Chad now is waiting at the door for JoJo, to the entrance to the mansion. When she gets there, he right away gets her attention and goes on a walk with her to, reinforce his standing. Stroll through a parking lot. I mean, they end in a kiss before she walks into the house. Right away, the men jump on Chad like piranhas, basically barking right above him where he was, what he was doing. Chad keeps on just saying that he was getting some air, quote unquote. I mean, for me, the thought of getting air with Chad would require an oxygen mask for someone who's with him, because that dude is exhausting to be around, and I can't imagine being around him. Just the garbage that comes out of him. So this is a big takeaway now. So Chad is eating all the food. We are talking about, you've never seen on this show catering just get completely demolished by any individual. Heck, you don't even see anyone touching food, or even see shots of it sometimes, maybe, but no one touches it. But Chad was absolutely devouring everything in his sight. That's a first. That must be a record on the show. The funny takeaway was that the next scene, you see the guys goofing around and throwing toilet paper all over trees. And why would you do this? Like, do not do this. Chad is going to need all the toilet paper possible. Don't waste that man's toilet paper. Chad will need it. I mean, you think they would have a good plumber at the mansion. That's also important with eating all those amounts of foods, in the consumption rate that he had. You will definitely need a plumber around for sure. So hopefully there's more toilet paper and a plumber nearby, because Chad is just gonna clog up all the toilets, no question. And paranoid Chad once again manages to scoop up JoJo, because he's being Olivia. Like from last season, Olivia always going to bed. Well, now it's Chad doing that. So he needs more reassurance, apparently. I mean, then thank goodness for the unfunny Canadian that he has to gossip with, because that's the only friend he has out there. So Chad is seen chatting up to the unfunny Canadian. And then Alex is just had enough of these guys. So he takes it upon himself to go up to Chad and kind of call him out for like constantly stealing JoJo away from the other guys. And Alex plays the hero of the day. But Chad just kind of explodes on him and literally goes face to face with him and tells him that he will knock out his teeth if he doesn't back off and stop. So there you go. Nothing happened, but no teeth were knocked out. But I'm wondering if a Marine, even though he might be 5 foot tall, but that dude's a Marine. Alex is a Marine. You don't want to mess with a guy like that. I don't care how big and tall Chad is and apparently imposing he thinks he is. But that you're messing with a Marine, bro. And that cannot be a good thing. Ever. So stay away if you want to stay alive. So on to the rose ceremony. It's here finally. And here come the roses. So the first one we had the save guys for the week were, of course, Derek, who was saved. James was safe through getting that, and you had Grant. So those were the safe guys. Alex gets the first rose. So hero Alex. Then you have Christian, Robbie, Luke, Chase, Jordan. Took a while for him. Then you had Grant. Well, Grant got a rose, so there you go. Ali, Daniel, James F, Nick, Vinny, Evan, still there. And the final rose goes to, drumroll, Chad. Yep, Chad gets a final rose. No surprise. They set up the villain for the end, thinking that he might get eliminated. No chance. James, the superfan, is gone officially. So superfan no more. Gambit, the card man, he's gone also. And hipster guy is gone also. So wise, obvious eliminations, of course. So no more superfan. Hopefully he took in the whole experience there, because the guy didn't last very long. So that was it for today's episode. The end credits, the bloopers, right after the episode aired, were basically of Christian escorting JoJo into a bubble bath. And he was wearing the tightest and smallest male bikini ever. Awful look. As she's soaking in her feet in a bathtub. She doesn't go in all the way. She kicks something, and hopefully it was a rubber ducky. So there you go. That was the funny moment. Next week, we have a double header. So 2-night event special. So the Monday night show and a Tuesday night. So 4 hours of Bachelor next week for you. Making way to the NBA Finals. So there you go. 2 nights of Bachelor next week. It's early to do that. They usually do that once every season. They do a 2-night in a row type of thing. Of course, Bachelor in Paradise, usually they want to get rid of it quicker, so that thing goes last year was all 2 nights in a row. So this year's Bachelorette already doing their 2 night back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday night, and it's basically a whole hell of a lot of Chad again. So they're really milking this guy and getting the most out of him right now, as much as they can. That is their villain, and doesn't seem like he's going to be around too much longer because he's getting into confrontations. Next week, one of those episodes seemed to be the one where James is bleeding, someone's knuckles are bleeding. There might be a confrontation. There seemed to be some physical altercation between Chad and possibly Alex. Not sure, couldn't tell. But there's definitely an altercation next week, and things are heating up. I believe there will be an ambulance making an appearance too. So this is that week where things get explosive, and maybe that'll be it for Chad. That could be very well it for him after Tuesday's episode. So we'll see, but a lot of Chad. That's the main takeaway. And this whole episode was Chadathon. Like, he appeared more than JoJo appeared on screen, which is kind of sad. That was the Chad show, and most of it was just him eating and talking smack. So is that good television? I don't know. It might be. But they're giving us all the Chad we can handle, and hopefully it doesn't last that long, because, we need more than just Chad, right? He's only the one Vil. So he's villing on his own with, side encouragement from the unfunny comedian, Daniel. That was it. It was a solid episode. Like I said, a lot about Chad. Not a huge takeaway, but all the drama we saw in the early previews of the season with Chad, that's pretty much what kind of played out in this one. So hopefully less of him next time going forward. So that was it for this week's episode, week 2 of The Bachelorette. It's here, underway. A lot of fillers still on the show, so those should be clearing up soon. Some guys you can just even recognize are still on there. The Vinnies and the Evans, and those guys are probably going soon. Especially the comedian. He has no business being there. Legitimately, he should be gone. He will. So, a lot of fillers still to remain to be eliminated. So, not that much drama when it comes to elimination still for a while. So, we still have that to look forward to. But that's it for this week. Week 2. Next week, double duty. 2 episodes. I might do just one long podcast, or it might be split up into 2. We'll see. Depends how things go. So a lot of Bachelor for you guys next week. For now, make sure to visit me on Twitter, and if you have any questions or comments, concerns, want me to address, just tweet at me at JimRKO. So it's at JimRKO. One word, JimRKO is the place to reach me. You can check me out in my blog on Chicago Now. It is Bachelor Universe, or just type Bachelor Universe on Google. You should get it. And I also started up a new blog. It's called the Bachelor Universe blog. So that is bacheloruniverse.wordpress.com. That's where you can get it. It's very much similar to the blog on Chicago Now, just my own version of it, and we're going to be expanding it a lot more, so trying to kind of take the coverage from Chicago Now and move it all over eventually to Bachelor Universe website at WordPress.com. So that's where things are headed, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, check out both sites, and thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in this week, and I will talk to you guys next week. See ya.